Peppa and the Midnight Owl. Hello, little dreamers. Welcome back to Dear Little Hearts, where every night is filled with magical adventures and gentle stories. Before we begin Peppa's nighttime surprise, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, and join our growing family of tiny listeners. It was a cool, quiet night at Peppa's house. The stars sparkled, the moon glowed softly, and everyone was fast asleep except Peppa. She tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Suddenly, hoo-hoo! Peppa sat up straight. What was that? She tiptoed out of bed and peeked through the window. Sitting on a tall tree branch was a beautiful midnight owl with glowing golden eyes. It looked right at her, wings gently fluttering. "Who?" the owl called again, almost as if inviting her. Curious and a bit excited, Peppa whispered, "I need to show George." She gently shook George awake. "George, come look, there's an owl." George rubbed his sleepy eyes. "Owl!" Together, they sneaked to the window. The owl blinked slowly, then spread its wings and flew toward the backyard. "Let's follow it," Peppa whispered. Outside, the night felt magical. The grass glistened with dew, and the air was cool and fresh. Peppa and George followed the owl as it glided from tree to tree, leading them toward the forest edge. When they arrived, they heard a soft rustling. The owl landed on a low branch and hooted gently. Peppa gasped. "Oh, you want to show us something?" Under the tree sat a tiny glowing object. Peppa picked it up. It was a little silver bell tangled in grass. "Maybe this belongs to someone," Peppa said. The owl nodded, flapping its wings lightly. Peppa thought for a moment. This must be from the forest fairies. They use bells during festivals. George's eyes widened. "Fairies?" Peppa looked around. "Let's see if the owl will guide us again." Sure enough, the owl soared deeper into the forest. Peppa and George followed carefully, stepping over mushrooms and twinkling fireflies. Soon, they reached a small clearing filled with shimmering lights, tiny forest fairies floating in circles. One fairy flew toward them. "Oh dear, our celebration bell is missing." Peppa held up the silver bell. "We found it." The fairies clapped and sparkled brightly. "You saved our midnight celebration." "Thank you, Peppa and George." The owl hooted proudly behind them, as if saying, "Job well done." The fairies sprinkled a little safe, gentle sparkle dust over Peppa and George for bravery and kindness. Soon, the owl guided them back home. As Peppa and George slept back into bed, the owl perched outside their window one last time. Peppa whispered, "Good night, Midnight Owl. Thank you for the adventure." The owl hooted softly and flew into the glowing night sky. Minutes later, Peppa and George drifted into the sweetest sleep, dreaming of fairies, owls, and magical forests. Thank you for joining Peppa on this dreamy nighttime adventure. Don't forget to subscribe, tap the bell, and return tomorrow for more magical stories only on Dear Little Hearts. Sweet dreams, little hearts. Morals of the story: curiosity leads to wonderful discoveries.